My friends, let's start with a foundational truth. Your feelings aren't a reaction to the world around you. They're actually the cause of the world you experience. This might sound strange if you've been raised to believe your emotions are simply responses to outside events. But I tell you, it works the other way around. Your emotions, your inner states, are the actual substance your external reality gets built from. Think of it this way. The world you see around you is nothing more than a shadow, a reflection of your inner state of being. Just as a projector throws images onto a screen, your consciousness projects your inner states onto the screen of space and time. And just as swapping the film in a projector changes what appears on screen, changing your inner state changes the world you experience. Now, you might be thinking, surely you can't deny the reality of what I'm actually facing. How can I feel good after losing my job? Or when I'm dealing with a serious illness? Or when my relationships are falling apart? To this I ask you to deny the existence of your current circumstances. I ask you to deny their power over your inner state. Because your circumstances, no matter how dire they might seem, have no inherent power to make you feel anything at all. Your feelings aren't determined by what happens to you, they're determined by your interpretation of what happens. And this interpretation, this meaning you attach to events, is entirely within your control. Let me give you an example to illustrate this. Picture two people who've just lost their jobs. One falls into despair, feeling hopeless and defeated. The other feels excited, seeing this as an opportunity for a fresh start, a chance to finally pursue a long-held dream. Same external event, completely different emotional responses. What creates the difference? It isn't the event itself, it's the meaning each person assigns to it. Now you might be thinking, surely some events are inherently negative. Surely some circumstances are objectively bad. To this I say, there is no objective reality outside your own consciousness. What you call reality is simply a reflection of your assumptions, your beliefs, your habitual thought patterns. This isn't to say challenging circumstances don't exist. They do. But their power to affect your emotional state depends entirely on your choice to give them that power. You always have the ability to choose your response, to choose how you'll feel, regardless of external conditions. But why does this matter so much? Why should you strive to feel good when everything seems to be going wrong? The answer lies in the creative power of your emotions. Your feelings aren't just responses to your world. They're the very substance your world gets created from. When you consistently feel good, when you maintain a positive emotional state, regardless of what's happening around you, you're aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe. You're tuning your consciousness to the frequency of your desires, rather than the frequency of your current circumstances. Think of it this way. Your emotions work like a radio tuner. When you feel negative emotions, fear, anxiety, despair, you're tuning into the frequency of lack, of limitation, of things going wrong. But when you choose to feel good, to feel positive emotions no matter the circumstances, you're tuning into the frequency of abundance, of possibility, of things going right. And here's the key. The universe can only give you more of whatever frequency you're tuned into. Stay tuned into lack and limitation, and that's what you'll keep experiencing. But tune into abundance and possibility, and that's what will start manifesting in your life instead. This is exactly why it's so crucial to remember to feel good, especially when everything else seems to be falling apart. Because in those exact moments, when it's hardest to feel good, that's when it matters most. That's when you have the greatest chance to shift your entire reality. Now I can hear some of you thinking, isn't this just positive thinking? Isn't this just putting on a happy face and pretending everything's fine when it isn't? To this I say, this isn't about pretending or faking positive emotions. This is about understanding the true nature of reality and your role as its creator. Once you truly understand that your inner state is the cause, not the effect, of your external reality, feeling good becomes the single most logical, most practical thing you can do. It isn't about ignoring problems or pretending they don't exist. It's about recognizing that the solution to any problem, the path to any desire. Let me give you another example to make this clear. Imagine you're in a dark room, fumbling around trying to find the light switch. The longer you fumble in the dark, the more frustrated you get, the more things you bump into, the more chaos you create. But the moment you find the switch and flip on the light, everything changes. Suddenly you can see clearly, you can move easily, you can put everything back in order. Your emotional state works exactly like that light switch. When you're stuck in a negative emotional state, you're fumbling around in the dark. You can't see solutions. You can't spot opportunities. You just create more chaos and confusion. But once you shift into a positive emotional state, once you remember to feel good, it's like flipping on that light. Suddenly you can see clearly. Solutions become obvious. Opportunities reveal themselves. Order replaces chaos. Now I know what some of you are thinking. How can I possibly feel good in the middle of real problems, real challenges? This is a fair question. It's easy to feel good when everything's going smoothly. The real test, the real opportunity for growth and transformation comes when you can hold on to a positive emotional state in the face of real adversity. So how do you actually do this? How do you remember to feel good when everything else seems to be going wrong? The key lives in your imagination. Your imagination is the single most powerful tool you possess. It's the actual workshop where your reality gets created. When circumstances seem dire, when problems seem insurmountable, that's exactly the moment to turn to your imagination. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and imagine a reality where your problems are already solved, where your desires are already fulfilled. Feel the relief, the joy, the excitement of that reality. Let those feelings fill your entire being. Now some of you might be thinking, isn't this just fantasy? Isn't this just escapism? To this I say, your imagination isn't a place you escape reality into. Your imagination is the very place where reality gets created. What you imagine with feeling, what you experience vividly in your mind's eye, isn't separate from reality. It's reality in its earliest form. It's a reality not yet manifested in the world your physical senses can perceive, but no less real for that. In fact, it's more real, because it's the cause, and your physical reality is merely the effect. When you imagine a better reality, when you feel the emotions tied to that reality, you're not engaging in idle fantasy, you're engaging in the most powerful, most practical act of creation available to you. You're impressing the reality you want to experience directly onto your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind, which knows no difference between what's vividly imagined and what's physically experienced, immediately gets to work bringing about the conditions and circumstances that match your imagined reality. This is exactly why it's so crucial to remember to feel good, especially when external circumstances seem to be at their absolute worst. Because in those moments, when you choose to feel good, despite appearances, you're exercising your true power as a creator. You're asserting your dominion over your own reality. Now let's address another common concern. Some of you might be thinking, if I feel good when things are going wrong, aren't I just deluding myself? Aren't I ignoring reality? To this I say, what is reality exactly? Is it only what your physical senses show you at this exact moment? Or is it the infinite field of possibility living inside your imagination? What you call reality is simply the outpicturing of past thoughts and feelings. It's the harvest of seeds you planted at some earlier point. But at any given moment, you hold the power to plant new seeds, to imagine and feel a new reality into existence. This doesn't mean ignoring your current circumstances or acting irresponsibly. It means acknowledging your present situation while simultaneously holding, in your mind and heart, the reality you actually want to experience. You live in two worlds at once, the world of physical senses and the world of imagination. Knowing the latter will eventually replace the former. Let me give you an example to make this concrete. Suppose you're currently struggling financially. You wouldn't ignore your bills or pretend your debts don't exist. You'd keep managing your current finances responsibly. But at the same time, you'd live from the state of financial abundance inside your imagination. You'd feel the relief of having all your debts paid off. You'd experience the joy of having more than enough money for every need and desire. You'd feel the security of an overflowing bank account. And you'd carry these feelings with you all through your day, even while dealing with your current financial reality. This is what it actually means to remember to feel good when everything else is going wrong. It's about holding two realities in your mind simultaneously, while emotionally living inside the reality you want to experience. Now, some of you might be wondering, how long will it take for my imagined reality to manifest? How long do I need to hold on to these good feelings before I see results? To this I say, time is a construct of the human mind. In the realm of pure consciousness, where all creation actually happens, there's no such thing as time. Your desire is fulfilled the instant you assume it to be so. How long it takes to appear in your physical reality depends on several factors, including how natural the desire feels to you, your ability to sustain your assumption, and the current conditions of your world. But here's the key point. Don't concern yourself with the when or the how. Your job is simply to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and to live from that state. The universe handles the details. Trust the process. Know that whatever you've assumed must come to pass by universal law. Remember, creation is finished. Every possible reality already exists. When you assume a new state, when you choose to feel good, despite challenging circumstances, you're not creating something new. You're simply selecting a different reality out of the infinite array of possibilities that already exist. You're tuning your consciousness to a different frequency, so to speak, and thereby experiencing a different version of reality. This understanding should free you from anxiety and impatience. There's no need to worry about whether your desire will manifest. It must, because it already exists. Your only real task is aligning your consciousness with it, through your assumption, through your choice to feel good, regardless of external circumstances. Now let's talk about an aspect of this principle a lot of people overlook. How can you not feel profound gratitude? Gratitude isn't just a pleasant emotion, it's a powerful creative force. When you feel grateful, you're affirming that you already have what you desire. You're living from the state of fulfillment, of abundance, of your wish already realized. And in doing so, you're aligning yourself even more powerfully with that reality. So cultivate an attitude of gratitude, especially when circumstances feel challenging. Be thankful, not just for what you already have in your physical reality, but for what you've already assumed in your imagination. Feel the gratitude of already being, doing, or having what you desire. This gratitude will transform your entire experience of life. You'll find yourself appreciating the present moment more fully, even while assuming a different state. You'll start seeing the beauty and perfection in everything, recognizing it all as an expression of the same divine consciousness that you are. Now I want to address something that comes up constantly as people start applying these principles. They begin wondering, if feeling good matters so much, what happens if I can't maintain positive emotions all the time? What if I have moments of doubt, fear, or negativity? Friends, it's important to understand, the goal was never to never experience negative emotions. Negative emotions are a natural part of the human experience. The goal is not to dwell in these negative states, not to let them define your overall emotional climate. Think of it like the weather. Just as there will always be some cloudy or rainy days, there will always be some moments of doubt or fear. But just as a few cloudy days don't define the overall climate, a few moments of negativity don't define your overall emotional state. The key is not resisting these negative emotions when they show up, but acknowledging them, accepting them, and then choosing to shift back toward a positive state. Remember, you always hold the power to choose your emotional state, regardless of circumstance. One powerful way to shift your emotional state is through affirmations. But not just any affirmations. Affirmations you actually feel to be true. The power of an affirmation doesn't live in the words themselves. It lives in the feeling behind those words. For example, if you're facing financial difficulty, simply repeating, "I am wealthy," might feel false and create inner conflict. Instead, you might affirm, "I am open to financial abundance," or "Money flows to me easily and frequently." Choose affirmations that feel true to you, that create a genuine sense of possibility and excitement when you say them. Another powerful technique for holding on to a positive emotional state is visualization. Spend a little time each day visualizing your desired reality in vivid detail. See it, hear it, feel it, taste it, smell it. Make it as real as possible inside your imagination. As you do this, pay attention to whatever feelings arise. Let yourself fully experience the joy, the excitement, the relief of having your desire fulfilled. These feelings are the bridge connecting your current reality to your desired reality. Now, some of you might be thinking, but what about action? Don't we need to actually do something to bring about the changes we want? To this I say, of course action matters, but not the kind of action most people picture. Most people believe they need to take action to make things happen. They believe they need to struggle, to strive, to force things into being. But this kind of action usually comes from a place of lack, of fear, of trying to fix something perceived as broken. The kind of action I'm talking about is inspired action, action that flows naturally out of your assumed state. When you're consistently feeling good, when you're living from the state of your wish fulfilled, you'll find yourself naturally taking actions aligned with that state. These actions won't feel like struggle or effort. They'll feel natural, effortless, even joyful. Opportunities will start presenting themselves to you. You'll have sudden intuitive flashes of insight, You'll find yourself in the right place at the right time. This happens because when you're in alignment with your desire, when you're feeling good despite challenging circumstances, you're in harmony with the creative power of the universe. You're letting that power work through you, guiding your actions and orchestrating events in ways you could never have planned or forced on your own. Now let's address another common concern. Some of you might be thinking, but what about other people? What if my ability to feel good depends on how others treat me or what they do? To this I say, no one and nothing outside of you has the power to determine your emotional state. Other people, like everything else in your reality, are simply playing the parts you've assigned them through your own assumptions. If you assume your happiness depends on others, that will be your experience. But if you assume your emotional state is entirely within your own control, that will be your reality instead. This doesn't mean becoming indifferent to others, or that you stop caring about your relationships. It means taking responsibility for your own emotional state, regardless of how others behave. It means choosing to feel good, to hold a positive emotional state, regardless of what anyone else says or does. And here's the beautiful part. When you do this, when you maintain your positive state, no matter how others act, you'll find them starting to reflect that state back at you. Remember, the outer world is always a reflection of your inner state. As you change, your experience of other people changes too. Now let's talk about persistence. Remembering to feel good when everything seems to be going wrong isn't always easy. It requires persistence, practice, and patience. There will be times you slip back into old patterns of thought and emotion. There will be times circumstances feel so overwhelming that holding a positive state seems impossible. But this was never about being perfect. It's about consistently returning to your desired state, no matter how many times you slip. It's about making the choice, again and again, to feel good, despite whatever appearances suggest. Think of it like learning a musical instrument. At first it feels awkward. You make mistakes. It doesn't sound good. But with persistent practice, it grows more natural. The movements become fluid. The music starts to flow. And one day, you realize you're playing beautifully, without even having to think about it. The same is true for holding a positive emotional state. At first, it might feel forced or unnatural. You might find yourself slipping back into negative states often, but with persistent practice, it gets easier. It becomes more natural, and eventually, it becomes your default state entirely. Now, I want to address something that keeps coming up as people apply these principles. They start worrying about being selfish or uncaring if they focus on feeling good while people around them are struggling. But I assure you, holding your positive state is one of the most loving, most compassionate things you can do. When you choose to feel good, regardless of circumstances, you become a beacon of light in a world that often seems dark. You become a living example of consciousness's power to transform reality. You inspire others not through preaching or lecturing, but through your very being. What's more, when you maintain a positive state, you're in a far better position to actually help others. Think about it. Can a drowning person save another drowning person? You need to be standing on solid ground, or better yet, sitting in a boat, in order to throw a lifeline to someone struggling in the water. In the same way, when you're mired in negative emotions, when you're overwhelmed by challenging circumstances, you're in no real position to help anyone. But when you're grounded in a positive state, When you're living from the state of your wish fulfilled, you have the stability, the clarity, and the resources to make a genuine difference in other people's lives. Remember too that your state of consciousness affects more than just your own experience. It touches the collective consciousness of all humanity. Every single time you choose to feel good despite challenging circumstances, you're elevating the entire human family. You're adding your light to the sum of all light, making it a little easier for others to find their own way out of darkness. As we near the end of our discussion, I want to leave you with this final thought. Remembering to feel good when everything else is going wrong isn't just a technique for manifesting your desires. It's a way of life. It's a recognition of your true nature as a divine being, as the creator of your own reality. When you consistently choose to feel good, regardless of external circumstances, you're declaring your independence from the world of effects. You're asserting your true power as a cause. You're aligning yourself with the very creative power of the universe. This is the great secret, the great truth every mystic and sage throughout history has pointed toward. Your emotional state, your inner world, is the source of your entire life experience. As you master your inner world, as you learn to consistently feel good despite appearances, you become the master of your own destiny. Dear friends, I urge you, remember to feel good, especially when everything else seems to be going wrong. Because in those moments, when it's hardest to hold a positive state, that's exactly when it matters most. That's when you have the greatest opportunity to transform your life and to contribute to the transformation of the world around you. Go forward now, carrying this knowledge, and put it into practice. Choose to feel good, no matter what. Live from the state of your wish fulfilled, and watch as the world around you transforms to match your inner state. This is the true art of living, the true science of creation. This is your birthright as a divine being. Claim it. Live it. This is Neville Lectures. I'll see you in the next video.